So today, basically, this is the second tutorial. In the first tutorial, we have discussed about what is the Java and history of Java, and how the language works, why it is object oriented, why it is based combination. With all this, we have already discussed in my previous tutorial. This is the second tutorial where we will discuss about object, class, and method, and then we will discuss about the naming convention, and then after that we will work on the array in Java. Okay, so these will be the today's topic that we will work on them one by one. So anybody have their mic on, please make it off. If anybody have their mic on, okay, no issue. So let's discuss about first of all what is the object and class and then method. So first work on the object. So object basically an entity that has state and behavior. Whatever you have in your surrounding is called as an object. Okay, for example, that there is a pen, there is a pencil, there is a dog, anything it is near to you, it is an object. Okay, object have basically three things: state, behavior, and one more thing is identity. We can say that a object has state, behavior, and identity. Okay, identity. So what does this mean by the state? State means represent the data value of an object. If an object has some data value, then it will represent the state. Behavior means an object have some behavior like withdraw behavior or something that like a dog used to bark something. These all behaviors. And identity means it typically implement a unique identity. Okay, which will be allocated in your database or you can say your memory allocation. Okay. Now let's move further on at the classes. So classes are known as the collection of the similar type of the object, or you can say that a class is a group of objects which have common properties. Okay, it is a template or blueprint from which objects are created. Okay, that means in a class we can create an object. Okay, they can be physical. Okay, now let's move to the next topic, like the method. Method means that you are a procedure that you are performing some task. Okay, suppose that I will give you an example. Suppose that uh, there is a class where we are. Suppose that there is a class that. Give me 1 minute. Somebody is giving me. Okay, no issue. Suppose that there is a class to make a cup of tea. Means a tea or coffee class. So first of all, we will create an object for this class. Okay. So object of this class, what it will do, it will prepare a coffee for you. Or the procedure for the coffee, like heat up the water, put some coffee, then sugar, these all things. So this is a class. Okay. And this is the method, means the procedure. Okay. And this is the object. As I told you in previous tutorial, that objects are garbage collectible. So whenever the task of the object will be completed, so your collection will be called by default and it will be removed and your memory will be free. Okay, now let's move on the naming convention part. It's a little bit important that what how to name a class. So I will write here. Notice I will write here like the naming convention. Okay, so how to put the naming convention, it is an important point because in the complete life cycle of the Java, it is mandatory to write the use the correct naming convention so that anybody can understand whatever you have created. You have created a object or class or method. Okay, so for class, it should start with the uppercase letter. Always remember, means first letter must be uppercase. Okay, now move on the, and also the class will be a noun. Okay, like pi employee, this kind of thing a class will do. Now let's move on the interface. Interface means interface would start with the uppercase letter also, and it's a kind of adjective. Okay, like you can say that delivery well, this kind of thing. It will be a kind of objective. Sorry, adjective. Now the method. How we will name the methods? So for methods, it's good to create a method with the lowercase letter. Okay, so whenever you are creating a method, it should start with the lowercase letter. So it should have the appropriate name. What do you mean by the appropriate name? Means suppose that I am printing something. Okay, I want to print something, or I want to do some operation. Suppose that I want to perform a print operation. So method name should be print, so that anybody can get to know that this print method will print something with whatever written inside it. Okay, now let's move to the next part, variable. Okay, so method, after that variables. So variables basically starts with the lowercase. Okay, so we will start the variable with the lowercase letter. Sorry, letter. Okay, and also it's not a good an idea to create a variable with single character, because it's in the general practice we used to create variable like this, int x is equal to 10, but it's not a professional or a recommended way. Give a proper name to your variable, like int num is equal to 10. Okay, so it's a meaningful and recommended. And then package. So package naming conventions should start from the lowercase. Okay, and also it should be something like that. Suppose that you are inside some package and then you have to follow something, then you use the dot operator. Means suppose that we are using some uh, methods from util class, so package will be java.utils. Okay, if you are using the java.lang class, so package will be java.lang class. So in this way we are creating the package like com.lang.txt for the small letter. So this kind of package naming convention you should follow in your project. Okay. Now making to the constant. If you are using some constant, like you are creating some constant like static final. I will discuss about static and final later on. Int age. So it is not a good idea to write it in a small letter. Okay, for the constant, it's a recommended. It's a naming convention that you have to write it in capital letter like this. So basically, we used to follow the camel case. Okay, camel case means in most of the thing you will find like the class name and something. Camel case. Suppose that I want to write my name as a method, so it will become Chandan dot c. Means every word should have the first letter as a capital letter. Okay, so it is very important because whenever you are going to code in some organization which is you have to follow the complete convention process, then you have to write your all the things in such a way. Now moving on, the starting with the coding part, we will today start with a small coding and then we will move further on. So first of all, let me create a project. So in my previous tutorial, I have told you that how to download and configure the Java and Eclipse. So this is the new Eclipse that I have downloaded. So I will create a new project for this one. So I will go to the new, and here you will get the Java project. Okay. So I will click on this one and this one will get created. Now this is your default location. If you want to change this one, you can create your own location. Okay. You can change your drive from C drive to some other drive. For example, that I want to make a change, I want to make the folder in my D drive or some E drive. So I will take in this way, like a D drive. Inside that, suppose that APM or dog. So I will go to here, I will select this folder. Okay, but for the timing I am taking as a default, so I will give it name as Java practice. So I have given it name. I will click on also always remember there will be updated GRE like GRE 1.8. It is a good intro question that what the GRE you have selected while creating the project. Your answer should be GRE JSE 1.8. Okay. Now press on the next button. If anyone of you have any question, just make your mic on and ask me question. Okay. Now let's move on the next part. So whenever you are moving to the some Selenium, some APM, whatever automation tool, you need to add some libraries over here. As in my previous tutorial I have discussed about that there is a two things like the method definition and method declaration. There is a two things you have to consider always: method definition and method declaration. Okay, means method definition means whatever all the definitions are written, means are coded, all the functions are coded inside the method definition. And method declaration means we have declared, we have given them a name. For example, there is a child. Suppose that there is a child, I am saying him to just bring a cup of water. So why method is this? Just bring a cup of water. Now the definition to how to bring the cup of water is in his mind. Okay, so this is there are two things: method declaration and method definition. So these all jar files of method definition where all the libraries and functions are coded, we used to import in our Eclipse project here. Okay, add external jar. Whenever it is required, we will add these all files. So for the time being, we don't know need these all things. So I will click on the finish button. So you can see that we have created a project, Java project here. Okay, now you can see there is a source folder. So always remember we used to write our code in the source folder. So it's not a good idea to work on the default package, because if you work on the default package, sometimes you will get the uh, class not found or some error. So it's a good practice to create own package instead of using the default package. So I will go here and I will create a package. I will give it name as com.lang.beginner. Okay, so I have given a name of my package, this one. Now I will create a class like a practice one. Okay, so I will explain one by one. Uh, so first of all, am I audible to everyone, or any breakup is there?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, my screen is visible to everyone. Screen.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, so suppose that this is my class I have created. Now I will create a main method. So I will create a main method, public static void main. Okay. Now we will discuss each about one by one. First of all, let's discuss about the main. What does this main by? So whenever you will run your program, whenever your JVM will start, what it will do, or the Java compiler will start. So JVM will search for this main method. Okay, as soon you will start your program, it will try to find out the main method and it will start the execution whatever written in the main method. Okay. Now, public is access specifier, as I discussed in my previous class. That public in my previous class I have discussed that public protected default and private. So public is a access specifier that we can call this method from any class, from any package. Okay, static is a keyword that it's a kind of a memory allocation or memory saving type of technique. that you can call the method without using the object of this class. Means we can, whatever method we have declared, whatever variable we have declared with the static keyword, we can access them directly. Anybody? Okay, no issue. So this is my main method, and void means if we do not need a return. Okay, if I want to return something from this method, I will use that data type here, like integer, string, double, float, whatever we want. So let's run the first program. So we will use sysout control space, and then I will print here some message like welcome to Java. Okay, so this is my first program that we have written. Now to run the program, we have different method, but it's a good idea to just clean your project whenever you have multiple projects. So go to the clean and click on this button. So your project will be get clean. You can run it from here, you can run it from here, and also very different way. So it is a good idea to run it from here, because whenever you will have different methods like testng or something, so there will be all the options will appear. Okay, so go to the here and click on the run as a Java application. That will take some time, and you can see that the your object or your output has been printed. Okay, system.print.ln. What does this mean? Means this is a method that we are printing something in new line. What will happen if I will use simple system.out.print? Is there any error, or there will be some same result? Let's see this one. So ln means we always want to create a new line. Okay, that's why it has been printed in a single line. Okay, so this is the main meaning of the ln. Whenever you want the output in a new line, you just need to use print ln. Okay, now let's move on some other things, like some boolean operator that we will use too much in our coding part. Suppose that there is some integer, and I will say that x is equal to 10, and say also y is equal to 20. Okay, now we want to compare them, and we want to print the result. So we will create a boolean operator first of all. Okay, boolean, and I will say that a. Okay, so what the boolean will do? Boolean will compare this one, and it will give us the result in form of the true and false. Okay, so your result is this way. I am comparing something, I am storing in a boolean. So you are using inside a static method, so we have to change these all things in a static method. Okay, now I will print the value of boolean. Okay, so whether it is true or false, it will be printed inside the boolean. We will use this kind of things too much, like the boolean, integer operator, these all things. Okay, so it's all about the class. Now let's work much more upon that how to create the object of a class or something. Then we will work on the array. So suppose that this is a class, public class existence. Suppose there is a one more class, like a class and bank. Okay, so remove this one. Now we will work much more on. We will create the object of some class and then we will use some method. Okay. So suppose that there is a class and now I will create another class like practice. Okay, suppose that this class have some method like public void and output. It have some method. Okay. And then if I am printing it, I am inside practice to class. Okay. Now I want to access this class method from here. How it can be done? Just remove these all things. Remove these all. So first of all, we will create the object of that class. Then we can access this method. Okay. So I will create object. So I will use the class name. How to create the object? Use the class name, then object name, and then new operator, and then class name. In this way, we need to create the object of that class. Okay. Now I have created the object. Now I will call the method of this class. Okay. So as soon I will write my object, so all the method of that class will be initiated. Like this one, I have created a method like output. This one. Okay. So this is the way that we can access the method of another class by creating the object. As I told you that we need to create the object of that class and we need to access the method of that class by using that object. Okay, so this is the simple game of the Java, that we will create the class, then we will create the method, and then we'll create the object and we will call this method. So let me run this one. So I am inside practically. Okay. So in this way you will have multiple classes. You need to create the object of that class, whatever you want to access in the method, then you can call them. Now again, suppose that you don't want to create the object of that class due to any reason. So I will create a static method. Okay. So here now I do not need to create the object of that class. I will just simply type my class name, this one, and then directly I will get the method. Okay. And also suppose that I have some variable, static variable, then I can also access this one. Okay. Suppose that I have static int x is equal to 10. So I can also directly access it from here also, like without value of x is practice dot spelling mistake, I think so. We will see that without creating the object of this class, we are able to access both the variable and the method by using the this keyword. By using the static keyword. This one. Okay. So it is the basic simple concept. Whole Java depends in, as I told you, it is object-oriented programming. That for any class, first of all you have to create the object. After creating the object, you can call the method, and then you can access the method. This is very simple concept. And then if you don't want to create the object, just use the static keyword and you can call them directly. So we will use these all things too much in further programming. Now moving ahead, suppose we will discuss about the array. What is the array and how to use these all arrays. We will work on these all things one by one. Okay. So first of all, let's discuss about the definition of the array. What is the definition of the array? So let's remove this one to make it new. Okay, so what is an array? So array is a collection of similar type of the elements, okay, which have a contiguous memory location. Okay, what does this mean by the contiguous memory location and similar type of the element? So array is nothing, it's a simple memory location or memory allocation thing. Suppose that array is a kind of a box. Okay, it has some contiguous memory. This one after another. Okay, array can be store your data type like integer, your string, your float, all the data types they can store, but they will store a similar kind of. Suppose that you have created an integer array, then it will have only the integer value. If you have created the string array, then it will store only the string value. Okay, so this is the basic type of the array. But in the Java, array is in object. Means in Java we will say that array is an object. Okay, which contains elements of similar data type. Okay, so in Java, whenever somebody asks what is the array in Java, so in Java it is an object which have the which contains the similar data type of the element. Now let's start with the indexing. So always remember in the Java, whether you are working in Excel sheet, whether you are working some list, whether you are working on some array, the indexing will start from 0. Okay, so don't count it as a 1. So it will start from the 0. The numbering will be start from 0. It will go further on in this. Whatever Excel you are using something. So that means it has the 7 blocks which has been embedded. Okay. Now we will create some array and then we will you can say perform some operations on the array. Okay. So let's move and create an array. So basically in Java we have two types of array. Okay. Like one dimensional array and multi-dimensional array. Okay. So we will use basically in Java we have two dimensional array, like a single dimensional array and one we have multi dimensional array. Okay, so let's move on that. First of all, I will create an array, then I will call them one by one. Okay, so what are the different way to create an array? So I will do that public static by name, and then I will say that is in argument this one. Okay, now let's create an array and then we will sketch out each element one by one. So first way and the recommended way is to create some array like this one. First of all, give the data type, whatever the data type you have, like integer, string, whatever you have. Then you will say that the array and give these braces to denote as the array. Then, as I told you in Java, these are a kind of object, so we will use a new operator, and then we will use the integer, and then we will give the size of the array. This is the first way to create the array. Now you can add the elements in your array. Means your array have 5 blocks which start from 0 and go up to the 4. So we will add each the element in the array. Okay. So I can say that a array at 0th position I want to put some number like a 10. Okay, in some same way you can say that 100 I want to put some 100. In the same way I will put some value in all the array. at the first position I have one, sorry, second position I have one, this one. So this is a kind of array, and I will put some elements like one. Okay, suppose that I have this kind of element in my array. Now I will print each element one by one. To always remember that we have different ways to iterate the values from array. Okay, so what are the different ways to iterate the value? First is for loop. Means we will say that for loop to iterate the value from the array. Okay, so suppose that we have an integer like I. Okay, and I will say that I is less than, okay, and then I will say that, and I will, okay. So what I am doing, I am just putting a simple for loop. I am initiating it from 0 because I know that the indexing from start from the 0. Then I am checking the condition like the array dot length, which will give me the length of the array, like this one, this one. So whenever you want to fetch out the length of the array, you can use length. Okay. Now it will check the condition whether it is less than or not with the array length. Then it will increment one by one. Now let's run this program and see the output. So you can see that all the elements have been printed out. Okay, it is the 5, it is printed from here like the length of the array. Okay, so the 5 elements have been printed for your array by this one. Now second way to print the array is recommended way to use the for each loop. What does this mean? This means that we will have something I, and then we will say that okay, or change it to the some other variable like I, and I will say that cout, and I will print here both loop will work same but the different way. Here we are iterating by using the for loop. It is known as the for each loop. Means you will it will perform the same operation. That first of all you have to create a variable, then you have to map with this variable what is the array variable. Then you will first of all you will store this value in some variable and then print that value. Okay, so let me run this one. Yes, array going index of bound etc. Okay, it will appear when the size is more than you have given. Okay, so whenever the memory size will get out of index, you will get this kind of error. Okay, so let's remove this one. Now again what will happen if I will change this length +1. Okay, so again you will get the same kind of error like the array indexing of bound. Okay, so it's a important question in the interview. What does this mean by the array index out of bound exception? So you have to tell it that allocated memory is it is crossing the allocated memory. Okay. So now we will take another example to about the for each loop to complete. Let's remove this one. Okay, so I will use for each loop or in another example. Suppose that I have creating an array like this one. Okay, and I am giving it length as up to the 10. Okay, so I have created an array. I have given it length up to the 10. Now, first of all, by using the for loop, I will assign some value, and now after that we will print these all value without with using of the for loop. So I am saying that int I is equal to 0, I is less than a dot length. This is the method to get the length of the array, and then I will say that I first of all I will add some value. So I will say that at the ith position add the value of I. Okay, so what will happen first? So in this way we are just putting the value. In my previous example I am just assigning the value to each index of the array. Here by using the for loop I am putting some values in the array. Now again I will use the for each loop to print all the elements. Okay, so I will use for, as I told you that for each loop first of all you need the element like element, and then give your array name whatever you have taken. Then you have to okay, then I will use this out control space, and then I will print this element. So now this is the example that we will use the for loop and for each loop together. Let's move this one. So you can see that first we have inserted the value by using this loop. Means at the 0th position we have inserted 0, at the first position we have inserted 1 2 3 4. Then by using this for loop we have just printed all the values of the array. One more way to declare an array is something like this one, like integer a, sorry, let me give some other name, this one, and you can give some numbers if you have, like I have 12, 15, 17, 18. In this way you can also have multiple numbers. Okay, so you can also declare array in this way. There is some other item to double. Okay, point, no, it should be comma. Okay, so you can also use this way. Again by using the for loop, for each loop you can just print all the values of it. So it's all about the array. Just practice more on the array, and much more thing I already written in my website. You can go to there. So it's for today that we will have worked on the class object in the naming convention, package, and how to create the package, then these all things, and then it's all about the array. So you have to practice much more. From tomorrow we will start the OOP concept. Okay, so it's enough for today. If anybody have any question, he or she can ask to me.